John, you got to win a Super Bowl here, but then you also got to watch your son play his entire high school career here as well. How much has it meant to you not to just become such a big part of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but to become such a big part of Tampa Bay as well?
Well, I love it here. I mean, like I said, my mom and dad have lived down here for a long time. My wife and I are very involved at Moffitt Cancer Center here. Chance to give back to young kids that are playing football, people in the community that need a little help. We're happy to be of assistance any way we can, and proud to be a strong member of the community.
John, what did it mean for you to have an owner that was willing to give up so much to be able to acquire you in that trade, that blockbuster trade?
It didn't put any pressure on me now. I mean, Warren Sapp told me, if you don't deliver a Super Bowl, we will kill you. You know, you don't realize the compensation until the draft comes around. You miss the first and second round draft choices. And you really wish in hindsight that we didn't have to give up anything. But it really made me work hard. It really gave me the incentive to do the very best that I could for Mr. Glazier and the family that made that trade, because it was a lot to live up to. And perhaps I never will live up to it, but I'm not dead yet.
John, obviously the winning the Super Bowl was the pinnacle of your career with the Bucs, but when you think back at your run here, what stands out to you the most about just the experience that you shared with all these players and the owners and the coaches? And when you see your name up on the side of Raymond James Stadium and you're walking with your family, what's that going to mean to you?
I can't sum up what that'll mean to me. Obviously, it's humbling. You know, I'm sure Derek and Jimmy, I'm sure they would all tell you the same thing. To be considered to be one of the members of the Buccaneer family that you want to put up there is an unbelievable experience. I can't summarize that. I'm just thrilled and somewhat speechless here today.
Brian, from your perspective, what can you tell us about the relationship between your father and the man that sits to your left, right from the start, from the first time you ever met John Gruden?
I think John touched on it a little bit. You know, my father was always not about the football side of people. He was about the personal side, about the kids, about the wife, the family. And that's what he spent his time talking to John. But it was an immediate connection, and both competitive people, both want to win, and had an ultimate goal, and they achieved that.
Hey, Coach. There's so many moments from that 2002 season, that Super Bowl year, but is there one that sticks out to you that you continually play back in your mind for one of the reasons you're going to be inducted in this Ring of Honor?
Was Brad Johnson here? Where is he? Yeah, I mean, the memories of going head-to-head with Brad every week, you know, here's a guy that wanted to be in a shotgun. He wanted to be in a shotgun. He was most comfortable in a shotgun. I didn't know a damn thing about shotgun. I'll be the last coach in the history of this league that went wire to wire with 0 snaps from the shotgun. But he never got ticked off. He never got mad. And I appreciate that. I want to tell you that, Brad. I mean, we would not have won that without you. But my favorite memory was when I played quarterback. I was Rich Gannon. I was ripping you guys, Brooks. I was throwing slants, square ends. I was checking off. If I'd have played in the Super Bowl for the Raiders, it might not have been the same outcome. That's what I remember the most. But I remember the excitement, okay, to go in there as a football coach, and we had our obstacles on offense. We had a lot of questions to answer. We changed everything on offense. Forget about the system, the players, everything, the coaches. We had a long way to go. And we had to go up against Derek Brooks. We had to go up against Warren Sapp and Simeon Rice. We had a hard time blocking them. We had a hard time getting away from Lynch and Barber. Every day they tried to kick our butt. And it made me better. And it made Brad better. And we kept competing. And sooner or later, I just knew if we kept pounding that rock, sooner or later, we would have a breakthrough on offense. And that's just what happened. Unfortunately, Brad hurt his back and was out for 2 or 3 games. And we had to play our backup quarterbacks. But when Brad got healthy, you know, that's what I remember the most. Johnson was healthy. We were heading into the playoffs, coming off that bye week, and people weren't going to beat us. We were not going to be denied. What's up, Mike? You're still dressing good, man.
John, congratulations on on the honor. And Brian, Joel, congratulations to your father as well. John, you've got the visor on. Put on your analyst hat and tell us what you think about this Buccaneers team. A lot of people think this is it's the chic pick to go to the playoffs for the first time since you were the coach here. What do you think?
Well, high expectations. You know, they're a team on the rise. I'm sure Coach Cutter and Jason are feeling the same thing. We've done a great job building this thing. We're improving every year. We're on the rise. We got Hard Knocks here. We got a chance to see behind the scenes what's going on here. But that doesn't mean anything. We're going to get what we deserve. I say we because I feel a part of the Bucs still. We got a lot to prove. A lot of things have to go right, but I think this team's got to do the same thing we did, like any championship team does. You got to work your butt off and underestimate nobody. And with Jameis Winston and the leadership of the coaching staff here, I think you're going to see some really exciting things this fall. I'm going to try to get some tickets.
John Gruden, of course, the night before the Super Bowl, what was going through your mind, and also after you won the Super Bowl?
You don't want to know. You don't want to be there. That was my old team we were playing against. I hate to keep reliving the Super Bowl team. That was a special time. Can't deny that, never will. But the other 6 years that I was here, we had a lot of great players and great moments. You know, you come back in this facility. This is the theater where I worked. This is where we presented the game plans. I can still remember installing plays that didn't work worth a damn, wondering why I installed them. I can still remember visiting with the team after tough losses and big wins. Just a lot of great memories of being a Buccaneer.
Brian, what was it about Coach Gruden that just made you say, you know what, we've absolutely got to have this guy?
Well, you know, John was a winner. John, coming from Oakland, had huge success on the offensive side of the ball, and you know, we had an unbelievable defense, and we were just missing that side of the football. And getting a chance to get a young coach in his prime was a once in a lifetime opportunity, and so we did what we needed to do to make it happen.
And what was the reaction around the dinner table? Although you probably weren't having dinner at that time, but what was the reaction around the dinner table when you guys were able to get that deal done in the middle of the night?
It was euphoria. I mean, it was so exciting to know that John was coming to Tampa, and you know, it was a big risk, a big gamble with everything we gave up. But at the end of the day, you know, I got this, and he's got this, and we all have this. And those in this room that are part of that team all have those memories that come with that.
Brian, knowing your father's vision for Buccaneers football and what a good team would look like, how do you think he would view this current Buccaneers team and its leadership, Jameis Winston, Dirk Cutter, Jason Light?
I think he would just love this team. I think, you know, we have such a core of young players, and my father liked to talk to young people, and he liked to talk and give advice and hear their stories, as I mentioned before. But to have a large portion of our team are on the younger side, the first couple of years of being in the NFL, and having someone that they could talk to, my father would just really relish that moment.
John, it's been 25 years since Mike Holmgren dispatched you to an airport to pick up a young guy named Brett Favre. 25 years. Could you ever have imagined when you were driving down that road to the airport that one day your name was going to be immortalized on a stadium facade?
No, I still can't wrap my arms around that, Ira. That's what makes football great. You know, the things that are going to happen you can't explain. You can try and sit in a dark room and try to be right all the time. You can hire the best analytical team possible. Sports scientists now coming into the game. You can't predict what's going to happen. And you just got to hope that you get an opportunity and that you can take advantage of the opportunity when it presents itself. And if you're around good people that give you a chance, and a lot of things went right for me.
Brian, a lot of the younger generation of Buccaneer fans probably don't remember when your father purchased the team and how he could have moved this team out of this community. What was it about Tampa Bay that your dad saw and liked about this community and wanted to keep this team here?
Well, it was amazing. The team had such a long history of losing, and yet 35,000, 40,000 fans were still showing up week to week, coming to the games. And, you know, that showed a lot. That core of base fans that were there all the time, through thick and through thin, was a great start. It's a big market, and the people were out there. We knew if we started winning, the rest would come, and they did. They did.
Brian, 1995, this was all new to you, your entire family. You've never had any experience with a sports franchise. Your father took the lead in this whole thing. What did you learn from him and just the experience and how he structured this, how he built this, and the advice that he has given you to make you so successful?
My father has a saying that if you want to know the road ahead, ask the man that's been there. And he always told us that saying growing up. And when we purchased the team, one of the first things he did, we took a trip with him to see other NFL owners. I remember going down to Dallas and meeting, with Jerry Jones, and going to other cities and meeting with the owners and learning about how they ran their teams. And so we weren't coming in cold and blind and trying to figure it out ourselves. He already had that knowledge of, he doesn't know everything. And he doesn't want to pretend he's the smartest person in the room. He wants to get educated by smarter people that are around him. And we've taken that, and we do that constantly. We always want to meet with people, always want to learn from other people. That's something you could carry on in anything in life.
Coach, I'm over here, baby. As the only coach to win a Super Bowl in Buccaneer history, you've been out of football but also in football. What is the one thing that you've learned that you would pass on to Coach Cutter to win a Super Bowl championship?
Well, I would tell him, I would tell the players the same thing I tried to say to you guys every year. There's a rock out here in the lobby. You just got to pound it. And the rock is the opponent.